I know I'm over a week late to the party, but I don't really give a Wendy Lee and Viz Media are messy as hell and will get what's coming to them over this whole yoruichi situation. So a few weeks ago, Anaris Quinones announced that they'll be the English dub voice actor for yoruichi in Bleach Thousand Year Blood War. You may know Anaris from the roles as Lynette from Genshin Impact, Nessa from Pokemon, and Murako from My Hero Academia. So her announcement about yoruichi got me so excited because I'm currently binge watching Bleach, and knowing that yoruichi will be voiced by a black VA in the final arc just felt so right, y'all. Like, if there's a black coded character in an anime, or if an anime character is canonically of a certain culture, then I feel like their VA should come from that culture. You know what I'm saying? We need more diverse VA representation, especially in anime dubbing. Even Chad's original voice actor, Jameson Price, decided to step down from his role and said that he'll no longer audition to play characters of color. Elaine Mesa, a Cuban voice actor, took over the role of Chad for Thousand Year Blood War, and Jameson wished him the best. And yeah, Bleach has been in anime since 2006, but since Thousand Year Blood War just started getting animated last year, I think Viz Media taking representation into consideration is a good thing. A few days later, my happiness was shot in the face and thrown in the trash when Anaris announced that they'll be no longer voicing yoruichi and that the studio decided to move in a different direction. And the bull don't stop there. All of the recordings that Anaris had already done at that point will be replaced. But my question is, how do you cast an actor, book them, have them record, give them the go-ahead to announce their casting, and then say, whoops, our mistake, you don't have the role anymore weeks later?
Somebody ain't doing the math right.
And even more bullshit happens when Wendee Lee, the original voice actress for yoruichi, decides to throw a tantrum like an entitled child on Twitter over the recasting situation. Wendee Lee decides to go into the replies under Anaris' tweet about the recast and reply under tweets of fellow voice actors comforting Anaris over this upsetting debacle. She deletes her replies later, but the internet's forever. We got you in 4K. Wendee also liked a bunch of weird tweets like this one where someone's saying that she should be allowed to voice dark-skinned characters. I have an issue with that sentiment. In a perfect world where systems of oppression don't exist, yes, anyone should be able to voice anyone. However, this is reality. Systems of oppression exist, and they are still affecting the world. And in the voice acting industry, we know that there are not a lot of voice actors of color, especially in the anime dubbing industry, or English dubbing, anime English dubbing industry at least. There are not a lot of voice actors of color. To be honest, in all of my years watching anime, I honestly think in recent years, within recent years, there have been black voice actors voicing characters in anime, and it is such like a recent occurrence that I'm like, wow, this is where we are. Because if you think about the animes that you grew up with, how many of them people were black? How many of those voice actors were black? Think about it. The animes you grew up with, early 2000s, 90s, even early 2010s, if we wanna really push it, think about how many voice actors weren't white in the English dubbings. Think about it. Exactly. And talent ain't even a problem, because there are a lot of talented POC voice actors out there, but there's also white privilege. So if an anime has two darker skinned characters among those of fairer complexion, I think voice actors of color should be heavily considered and prioritized to play those roles, especially black VAs. And this ain't saying that Black voice actors should only be considered to play Black characters or to be typecasted. But it's not a crime that people want to be represented in a medium that they enjoy. Because once again, representation matters. This is a step in the right direction towards equity, and since equity involves leveling the playing field, the anime English dubbing industry has decades worth of leveling to do before a racist anime fan fixes their mouth to say that a white woman has the right to play a darker skinned anime character. And trying to use an instance where a POC actor voices an anime character as a rebuttal is a logical fallacy. It's a false equivalence. Because if we were to stack anime roles where POC actors were to be casted as English dub anime characters against roles where white actors were casted, the white role stack would be astronomically higher than the POC stack. And that's just putting every non-white VA into one stack. Imagine if we separated the stack into different races. Now, what really pisses me off about this whole Wendee Lee situation is that she could have shut her mouth and let Studiopolis and BizMedia take the fall for the recast BS. But she decided to log on to Twitter and go on a tangent. And Aniris was directly tagged in every reply that Wendee made. And then Wendee goes and replies under the tweet that Aniris made, announcing their role as yoruichi, saying a passive-aggressive apology and ending it with a welcome to the cast. So then Aniris posted a heartfelt thread thanking everyone for the love they've received since the announcement of their casting as yoruichi, and how they were determined to represent the POC Bleach fans that saw themselves in her. Aniris also mentioned that they've been recasted before in the industry, but this particular recast was definitely under the strangest of circumstances. They also tagged Wendee Lee and said that they appreciate her apologizing to them privately. But the peers that Wendee replied to during her self-entitled rampage also deserve an apology. Aniris also stated that they haven't responded to Wendee's private apology because they don't have the energy to participate in the situation more than they already have, and that they will be taking a social media break. And Aniris really does deserve a break. They really do. And we know that Aniris has to respond with such grace as a Black femme, because if she were to give Wendee the same energy, or at least be a little petty, Aniris would get so much backlash from the industry. While their senior in the profession can throw a tantrum in their Twitter replies and like shady tweets about the situation, Aniris has to act with respect in the face of blatant disrespect because of the angry Black woman stereotype. And before somebody who happens to be watching this video goes into my comment section and tries to play the race has nothing to do with it card, or I'm reading too much into it, race not mattering to you is a luxury. There is nuance in this situation that if you don't notice it, or if you don't see it, then you live a life of privilege. Because with me being a Black woman, I've been disrespected by people who are in higher positions of power than I have, and I have had to take that disrespect and smile. Because I know if I were to stand my ground, I would be painted as the aggressor. And I know the person who disrespected me would be coddled. So yeah, race does play a factor here. Now, Studiopolis has released an official statement about the recast of yoruichi, and they said, quote, "In error, a casting director offered Aniris Quiñones the role. By the time this error came to our attention, it was too late to correct before episode 22 was released. We would like to take this opportunity to apologize once again and express how much we appreciate their talents and enjoy working with Aniris and Wendee, who will both continue to add their voice work to Bleach 1000-Year Blood War, as Wendee with yoruichi Shihoin and Aniris as Hiyori Sarigaki." I'm here to tell you that while I was reading this statement, my internal bullshit detector was beeping up a storm. And here's why I say that. Wendee was already on the cast for 1000-Year Blood War. She voiced two other characters that appeared several times before yoruichi. So how do you accidentally book an actor, have them record lines, put their recordings on the aired episode, and then a week later say, oops, we forgot that we have the original voice actor of yoruichi on the 1000-Year Blood War cast, so we're going to actually give the role to her and erase all the work you've done. A mistake would be offering Aniris the job and then rescinding it like a day after. You had Aniris do the labor, record dub line. So you're gonna sit here and tell me that the casting director had no idea that the original voice of a major character in the original anime was already on the cast of 1000 Year Blood War?
You cannot trick me! You cannot trick me!
Like, be so for real. And then Studio Oblis's statement says nothing about the racism Anairis endured since their announcement of the casting or how Wendee acted on Twitter. And I hate when media companies succumb to the tantrums of racist fans whenever a POC actor, especially a black actor, is casted for a role, because that enables their behavior and encourages them to continuously attack the actors and studios in order to get what they want. But I hope Anairis is doing well in protecting their peace, and when one huge opportunity closes, another better opportunity opens. So I'll always be rooting for Anairis. Thank you so much for watching, y'all. Be sure to like. If you have something to add to the conversation, don't be afraid to put something in the comments. I like reading them. I like responding. And I hope y'all have a good day or night. Bye-bye.